Hi everyone, I hope you all are great. Today we'll have verbals. First, you have to log in using the a+10.com. Click on any move on to language at the grade 8. Chapters verbals. Lesson is identify participle and what they modify. Identify gerunds and their function. Identify infinitive and infinitive phrases. Alright, so a participle is a verb form that sometimes acts as an adjective, okay? So it's a verb form that sometimes acts as an adjective. Present participle always end in ing. Past participle are usually the same as the past tense form of the verb. But some, such as broken, taken, seen, grown, and done, are irregular. A participle phrase consists of a participle and its all modifiers. All right. So that studying banquet of tulips was a gift from Olivia. Now the participle acts as the adjective modifying the noun banquet. Okay. Filled to capacity, the bus had no room for additional riders. The participle phrase acts as an adjective modifying the noun bus. Okay. Okay, so let's look at some examples that we have on here. So select the part of the sentence that the participle modify. Maki recommended a website that features breaking news and in-depth coverage of national and international politics. So what do we have here? Breaking, because breaking modifies the noun news. Alright. So we also have here select the participle of the participle phrases. And what do we have over here? We have calculating is a present participle. It acts as an adjective. Okay. Complementary colors are colors that appear on opposite side of the color wheel. Shown together in an image, they provide the greatest visual contrast. So what do we have here? Together in an image, okay? So that is what the participle. All right. So you just have to note that participle is a verb form that sometimes act as an adjective. Okay. So let's see the test. And you can share your answer with me if you know them. Okay. So select the participle of a participle phrase. In the 1800s, companies in the US and Europe manufactured early calculating machines, which is the workload of payroll's clerk, engineers, scientists, and government workers. Is or calculating. Okay, so we have calculating. Then select the participle or participle phrase. Runners in middle and long distance track eventually begin from a standing start, but sprinters who need greater initial power for a short dash typically use a crush start, first or second. Okay, so we have what? Standing, okay? Complementary colors are colors that appear on opposite sides of the color wheel, shown together in an image. They provide the greatest visual contrast, first to second. Okay, so we have together in an image. All right. Okay, so Charles Adams was an American illustrator and cartoonist famous for his warped sense of humor, which was evident in the ghoulish cast of character and creepily funny scenarios of the Adams Family cartoons, first to second. Okay, so we have what? The first one. Alright, that's it for this lesson. We'll move on to the next. So make sure you complete that. Now we have identifying gerunds and their functions. So a gerund is a verb form that acts as a noun and ends in ing. A gerund is often the subject of a sentence or clause, an object of a verb, or an object of preposition. A gerund phrase consists of a gerund and all its modifiers. So swimming is one of my favorite ways to get exercise. The gerund is the subject of the sentence. Then Peter enjoys cooking for his family and friends. The gerund phrase is the object of the verb enjoys. Okay. After staying up all night, Tessa felt completely exhausted. Now the gerund phrase is the object of the preposition what? After. So you have to note that the gerund is a verb form that acts as a noun and ends in ing in a sentence. Okay, so it's most times like the subject equals to be the object or object of a verb or object of a preposition. Alright, so we have selected the Gerard or Gerard phrase. After the budget crisis, the city of Norwood stopped funding the construction of bike lanes and crossworks. We have what? Funding the construction of bike lanes and crosswords. Okay, so the Gerard phrase is funding that. It contains Gerard funding and acts as a noun. Okay. So what is the grammatical function of the Giroud phrase here? After the border crisis, the city of Norwood stopped funding. So what do we have here? Object of a verb or what? Object of a verb is what we have here, okay? That's the grammatical function. Alright. So what's the grammatical function here? Before signing with the Brooklyn Dodgers, Jackie Robinson played football for a semi-professional team in Hawaii. We have what's here? Object of a preposition before. Okay. So yeah, let's go to the test and you can share your answers with me, okay? So what's the grammatical function of the Giroud phrase here? Is it first, second, or third? Okay, so we have what's object of a verb. So here, select the Giroud or Giroud phrase. Is it the first or the second? Okay, so we have the first one. Then, to improve the taste of water, Europeans began filtering water slowly through sand in the early 1800s. What's the grammatical function here? Okay, so what do we have here? Object of a verb, okay? So select the jury or juror phrase here. Is it the first or second? Okay, so we have what? The second one. So select the jury or juror phrase. When you know the length of the base and the height, calculating the area of a triangle is easy. First to second. Okay, so we have calculating the area of a triangle. Then what do we have here? Grammatical function. First, second, or third. Okay, so we have what? Object of preposition. Okay. Then in 1993, to meet demand for better fuel economy, the automobile company Toyota began developing the hybrid car now known as Prius. And what's the grammatical function here? Okay, so we have what? So we have object of a verb, which was the correct one. Alright, so we'll move on to the next one. So make sure you complete this if you haven't done it. We have the last, which is identify infinitive and infinitive phrases. Okay, so an infinitive is a verb form that begins with to followed by the base form of the verb. An infinitive phrase consists of an infinitive and all of its objects and modifiers. So we have to star on Broadway's Gabriel's Dream. Have we decided on a place to meet? How many people add sugar to their coffee to make it sweeter? Okay. So the infinitive phrase is to prevent um loss of nutrients and buildup of pests in the soil. Contains the infinitive to prevent. So we need to go see this question, but you have to know that the infinitive is a verb form that begins with to. Okay, this is the highlight. It begins with to. So we have select the infinitive or infinitive phrase. The purpose of crop rotation, the practice of changing the type of plant grown in a given area each year is to prevent loss of nutrients and build up of pests in the soil. So we have what to prevent. That's the infinitive, okay? It always begins with what? To. Alright, so that's the best way to identify it. So let's select the infinitive or infinitive phrase here. So we have this passage and we can go through it. So we have what prohibit the importation of slave or slave. So it begins with to prohibit. Okay. So over here to prohibit. So that's the infinitive phrase. Okay. So just take note that the infinitive is a verb form that begins with to, followed by the base form of the verb, so followed by the other informations. All right. All right. So select the infinitive or infinitive phrase. To scroll down the web page, click on the scroll box and drag it down, or use the down arrow key on the keyboard, first or second. Okay, so we have what's the first part. So what's the infinitive or infinitive phrase here? Is it the first or second? Okay, so we have what? Second. Then select the infinitive or infinitive phrase here. The Ravens' new pitcher who keeps hitters off balance with his devastating fastball and solid breaking ball continues to exceptionally exceed expectations. So is it first or the second? Okay, so we have what? The first one. Alright, that's it for this lesson under verbals. You have to complete all the lessons, okay? We just did some few questions under that. But before we end, can you tell me if you have any question? Alright, since we have no questions, we'll end here. Complete this lesson if you haven't. See you next time. Bye.